Pastor Johnny Green, Senior Pastor of Mount Nebo Baptist Church in the village of Harlem. And today is a special celebration for me because I'm a native Texan. I was born and raised in Dallas, Texas. Juneteenth is something that I have been celebrating as far back as I can remember. Many of you who have studied the history of Juneteenth, many of you who read Ralph Ellison's book, Juneteenth, know that on January the 1st, 1863, President Abraham Lincoln signed the Emancipation Proclamation declaring the ending of slavery in this country. Unfortunately, and I place heavy emphasis on unfortunately, the slaves in Texas did not get word about their emancipation until June 19, 1865, when General Gordon finally arrived in Galveston, Texas, and shared the good news with the people who had been enslaved for more than 400 years. One of the things that we do in Texas, and it's beginning to catch a fire and take place all over the country, as we celebrate Juneteenth, we should celebrate Black culture. Our culture is rich. Some of the greatest inventors, some of the greatest musicians, some of the greatest athletes, some of the greatest politicians, some of the greatest educators, some of the greatest in every field of labor came from the Black community. In the words of former Congressman Floyd Flake, we had to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps, even when we didn't have on any boots. It gives me great honor and pleasure today to have created a partnership with this wonderful woman, Crystal Williams. Y'all give her a hand. Crystal heads up Kids Passport to Adventure, and she's doing an awesome job. And the reason we have this back street, St. Nicholas, blocked off from 115 to 114, or 114 to 115, however you want to look at it, is because of her foresight and her vision. A little over a year ago, our outreach ministry here at the church partnered with her, and we found her to be a good partner. And I hope you found us to be a good partner as well. We're so excited about this partnership. We're excited about community. We're excited about Harlem, not just here in this area, but Harlem in its entirety. And one of the things that we have to learn to do, we have to learn to create partnerships. We have to learn to work together with other people who are different from us and who have different views and opinions, politically, socially, economically, spiritually, but we have to find a way to live together or we'll all perish. One of the things that I'm thankful for today is that I have a warm and a working, wonderful relationship with the leader of Harlem, and I want to place emphasis on that. The leader of Harlem right now is the Congressman of the 103rd District, Congressman Adriana Espaillat. Will you give a big hand for her? We're also excited today that our state senator, Cardell Clear, who's a member of Mount Nebo, she was with us, she'll be back. And then our district attorney, Yeah. Yes. Who's doing a marvelous job here in Manhattan. Brother Alvin Bragg. Y'all give him a hand. A little under a month ago, Congressman Esbiat and myself and our legal team from Impact, we met here at the church, and we decided and agreed that it would be essential and necessary that we initiate an annual Juneteenth block party right here on St. Nicholas Avenue. The congressman assured me that he was all in, and I assured him that our partnership and our friendship was authentic. And so we're here today because of the collaboration between Pastor Green and Congressman Esbiat and our attorney, Larry English, and Anira Batista, who has worked with our executive pastor, Reverend Sandra Baker, who's in Jackson, Mississippi, doing some logistic work for our National Baptist Convention. Kavita, where are you, Kavita? Okay, Kavita couldn't be here. She's from Made For Me Books. Let's give Kavita a hand. Yeah. So if we could just solicit your attention for just a little while, I would like for you to hear from all of these very special individuals who are partnering with us today to make sure that we celebrate Juneteenth in a very fine fashion. Crystal Williams is going to come. She's going to be followed by Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg, and then we will hear from our Congressman Adriana Esbiat. Will y'all give them a thunderous applause as they take the mic?
Thank you, everyone, for showing up today. Really appreciate it. My name is Crystal Williams. I'm the founder of Kids Passport to Adventure. Can you hear me now? All right, great. We're committed to our community and we're committed to our kids. And one of the things that we provide are amazing opportunity for your kids. Our goal is to level the playing field by bringing experiences like skiing, horseback riding, anything that you think of outdoors that you don't necessarily see people that look like us doing, we do it. And we do it well. So I want to thank you. My partner, Kavita Singh, she couldn't be here today, but she brought all of these wonderful books. Made For Me Books brings diverse books to our children, books that you don't necessarily see in our schools. So make sure you get books today. I'm not going to hog the mic because I can either go on or I get stage fright. So thanks again for having us, and I thank you all for coming and supporting us, and I look forward to this partnership in the future. Thanks again.
This is great. I too want to be brief. Oh, you're going back to work, huh? Look at that. That's true service. I wanted to pick up on what the pastor said and thank him for his leadership, and obviously everyone here today, our Congressmember, Will Allen, all the not-for-profits who are working. We talk about our rich culture. This is it. We have, our police precinct council. We got Jackie Rowe Adams. We got Stephanie McGraw. We got your fraternity. We got face painting. People say, why the district attorney here? This rich culture is the underpinning of public safety. This is our community standing together. This is how we keep our community safe. So we do what we do downtown. I feel we're going to continue to do our gun cases, continue to enforce. But this rich culture, this network, this Juneteenth celebration keeps us safe as well. This is a part of our safety. And I'm just humbled to be here in partnership with all these great leaders. So thank you so much.
Let's give our district attorney a hand. And he's doing a good job.
Thank you, Reverend. And thank you to the Mount Nebo family. This is a family, right? I feel the sense of family right here today with the children and the Reverend and our DA and the leadership of this church. celebrating Juneteenth. I started the day this morning with my coffee. I figure I love Bustelo. Not everybody carries Bustelo, but Bustelo gives you a jolt and gets you up and running in the morning. So I figure if I'm going to have coffee every Saturday, I might as well have it with my constituents. So we started this coffee with the congressman, and our DA has been to the several ones that we had here in Manhattan. But I started today with DA Clark over in the Bronx, in Bedford Park, all the way up by Lehman College. And we had the coffee there this morning to talk about criminal justice issues and gun control, right? And you all know we're working hard in Washington to take the first sort of like small step. But every step forward is not a step back, right? And so when you build consensus, it's not all we want, and I wish it was so much more, including my ghost guns bill, which is not in the Senate. Right? And for you to know, particularly you adults, because sometimes, you know, time passes us by and we don't know what went by us. You know, they got these kids now that you assemble at home that you get in the mail that are untraceable, that when you put them together, you wind up with a 9mm gun in your hand. I mean, when you assemble some furniture, you get like a kitchen table or sofas. But when you assemble a ghost gun, you get a 9mm weapon in your hand that's designed to kill, is untraceable, and the manufacturers should be held accountable, and everybody else. No one should be able to access that without having a deep background check and the rest, right? And so all these things that we're discussing about that are so important to our community, we began discussing this morning in the Bronx. And so we're here in Harlem, and it's Juneteenth, and now it's a national celebration, as it's always been. It just wasn't official, but we knew it was there all the time, and we knew what it meant to everybody, right? Because freedom has a special meaning to anybody in the world. Any people that have been oppressed understand the value and the importance of freedom. And so as we celebrate this, let's uplift our culture, yes, because the linchpins, the underpinning of success are our cultural values, right? We cannot move forward if we're weak about where we came from and the culture that propelled us to where we are today. We won't be able to move with decisiveness unless we understand that and we welcome it and we celebrate it in the way that, and when you celebrate that, the entire city celebrates. Because what makes one group strong makes the entire city strong. This city is based on diversity. And I tell you that because I represent one of the most diverse districts in the city. Because you go to 116th Street and you're going to find the Senegalese community over there. You know, the Senegalese community, you'll see them in the streets, in the sidewalks as vendors. You may not know that from the womb of their mothers, they were merchants. They were African merchants. And so that's what they bring to the city, many of them. Bring that ability to do business and sell you some goods and be able to barter with you, right? That's what they bring. That's the Senegalese right there. But you go up to Fordham Road in my district and you're going to find a Vietnamese community. You know, I went to one of the churches there, Jackie, and I saw the masses, and they said two of the masses are Vietnamese. I said, Vietnamese? I said, why? I said, Father, why? He said, that's the Vietnamese community right behind the church. And you go up to the Northwest Bronx and you find an Albanian community, right? That's right. You know, and then you got the Mexicans, and you have the Puerto Ricans, and you have the Dominicans up there in Washington Heights, right? And you got, you know, folks from all places in Africa here. And in the West Bronx is West Africa now. And so, you know, you go through the city and you go to Brighton Beach, and that was little Odessa. You know, you go to Bensonhurst. I remember the days when somebody like me couldn't walk around Bensonhurst. Bensonhurst is now Middle Easterner. You know, you go everywhere in the city. You go to Queens. Oh, that's like the United Nations. And so that's what makes our city strong. And when one group, any group, celebrates their culture, freedom, everybody's lifted, right? Right. Now, I got to end with this, Rev. I passed by the children's book, right, table, and I stopped, right, because I was telling somebody that I got this publisher, right, that said, oh, you know, we want you to write a book because, you know, you're from Washington Heights to Washington, D.C. Yeah, so I met with this person, right, and she was all telling me about the potential of the book and everything else, right? And I said, you know, I want to write a book, except you and I have a little difference of opinion as to what it should be. I want to write a children's book. And I began to think about that because I took my grandson, who was 6 years old then, is now 7, to the Capitol, right? And we were walking in the rotunda of the Capitol, right? And somebody took a photograph of us from the back, and I saw it. And I remember what he was telling me. He was telling me then, when they took the Photoshop, he said to me, oh, this is where that happened. He was referring to January 6th. Yeah, yeah. I said, you know, I said, the power of Grandpa, that's the name of the book. I'm giving this, I'm not promoting her because I haven't written it. I said, the power of Grandpa is what my answer to that question will be. Yeah? That's the power, right? I said, but you know, I don't want to talk about politics to him. I want to tell him why an urban young boy or young girl should know how to swim. You know why? Because there's a disproportionate number of drownings of kids growing up in the city because they don't know how to swim. I want to be able to tell my little boy how to tie his tie, how to do the knot. Simple as that. Somebody told me over the table, what's your favorite food that he could whip up together or she could whip up together? That's the power of Grandpa. So that table over there, right, is a valuable table because it's children's book. And in it, we should talk about Juneteenth to them, but in a way that is friendly, children friendly, right? That is accessible to them, that they could understand at an early stage, at an early age, so that when they're adults, it's common sense. It's just like something that they carry in the pocket with them all the time. And so I thank you, Reverend, for this. I thank you for putting this together. This is, we're going to do this every year now. Yes, and then we're going to do other things with Mount Nebo, because it is through churches like Mount Nebo that we could help empower this community.
Mount Nebo strong.
Because the work that the Reverend at Mount Nebo does is not quantifiable, right? You can look at Wall Street numbers and you figure out whether Wall Street is up or down, and you can say the economy is going forward or not. But the work that they do here and what they put out for the community, you cannot measure in those terms. Because when you save a family and keep them on the right track, or when you provide economic development for the community, you can't really measure that in any precise way. This is like amazing stuff that happens here. Without churches like Mount Nebo, we cannot move forward. So I hope to have a long-standing, sincere, and productive relationship with this Reverend and his Mount Nebo family. God bless you all, and always keep the faith.